UnEarthed came out of a project that the five of us did, which Sam curated at Burley House, called Fresh Take. Three of us were artists on the project. Sam was the curator, and Sheelah, who isn't here today, was the mentor. And it involved working in a heritage site. And really, that's how the John Clare idea came about. Sue and I were already artists and residents of Roddan and Trust, so we were working in Clare Country anyway. And this month is the 150th anniversary of Clare's death, and there are quite a lot of events commemorating that idea. So it seemed a good idea to build a project around that. Timing wasn't great, we had very little time to actually put something together. So the way we've dealt with that is to have the first part of the exhibition as sort of work in progress, maquettes and things like that, just to demonstrate our ideas. So we have something in the cottage for that anniversary. And then the full exhibition of finished works will be in the cottage from early July, which is the commemoration of the anniversary of his birth. And is the time that generally the cottage is very busy. There's lots of events going on in Helpsfield to celebrate that.
And I like the idea of John Clare having walked in the same area too, although it's radically changed since then. But I like to sort of, one of the things I like about landscape is you get, or I get, a sense of history from it, social history, and of course all the marks in the land. You know, they're not natural, they're completely man-made. And about 2 years ago I bought a book in Aldeburgh called Dykes, Ditches and Hedges. And that's the sort of thing I like to read.
Yeah.
I don't take a huge amount of influence from other artists, I tend to take it from things like that. And of course, because John Clare was very obsessed with enclosures, I sort of could follow the pathways, but with the imagination of getting rid of the dykes, although I understood why they were there, and the hedges and everything. It just opened up the landscape rather than enclosed it for me.
My response to John Clare's legacy has been very different to the others. He had a very direct relationship with nature, and his poetry is very evocative of the landscape, and as Sue said, he was talking about kicking the clods of the words of his poetry out of the clods of the earth. And I feel that these days we perhaps don't have that same relationship with nature. Well, you take a walk in nature, you take a dog along the river for a walk or something like that, but we don't live in the land in the same way he did. And our relationship with nature is often mediated by technology these days. So if when you're out about walking in the landscape, you'll often click a photo and upload it to Instagram, and other people will share nature with you through the medium of technology and the screen. And I think that's a very interesting way of looking at nature.
Wood is a lovely little woodland just outside of Boston, and he used to go there collecting plants to bring back to his garden. And I got quite interested in John Clare as a collector. I think that's an aspect of him that not a lot of people know.
Yeah.
And he collected books, he collected music, he would go and collect plants, bring them back to his garden. He collected snail shells and archaeological finds and all sorts of different things. But it was in a very immediate way. It wasn't like a Victorian collector's cabinet. He was collecting stuff that was in his environment and he was rubbing up against every day. So when I was going to visit the three different places, I would start to collect things, just pick up things as I was walking, which is something I've always done since childhood. And I found that I wanted to group each collection together as a record of that particular day's visit and what caught my eye that day.
And as he descended into madness, he started to write in code and sort of interesting ideas like this. So I've interpreted that in something which is a new discovery to me, asemic writing. And asemic writing just means writing without words, so very abstract text that you recognise as text but that you can't actually read, which is quite interesting because it means it goes across cultures as well. And I've used birdsong, sonograms, and the bare hedgerows as the inspiration for my Islamic writing, but the actual text, although you can't read it, is my interpretation of birdsong. So actually, the sounds that birds make, which we write, we have a language for, and which Clare actually did a lot of research on and was one of the first people to write about. And that is what those words are what I've interpreted on fabric, directly drawn on, stitched on as well, just very loosely interpreted.